Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everyone. Welcome to KerbSide Collections with me, Adam Ritchie, a podcast about physical media collectors for physical media collectors. Join me as I burrow into the psyche of this episode's ever collector, Foster Harlfinger. Welcome to the show, Foster. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on. It's a treat to have you on. Tell our listeners what part of the world you're from at the moment. Well, at the moment, or have always been. I don't know. Tell us your
Uh,
life's journey.
Same answer for both. I live just outside of New York City. Yeah, have my whole life.
Yep, cool. It's a long way from where I am at the moment, so it's good to have some international guests and hopefully some listeners as well. Just jump straight into the questions if you like. Why do you collect physical media with I guess with so many streaming options? What's your attraction to having the physical copy?
So I don't think it was ever like a choice of I'm gonna start collecting these. It was just like it just accumulated over the years where like when I was younger, I used to see movies and then want to own them because I rewatched them a ton at home. And then gradually
Hmm.
the collection would just build and then it would be like my movies, my mom and dad's movies, my sister's movies, and it would just like compound into this huge thing. Eventually it separated off, and then I had like my collection of my movies, and it just like grew over the years. So yeah, just to say it wasn't like a conscious choice. It's just kind of like
Right.
an addiction that started from a
Just
very young age.
it just happened like smoking
Yeah,
cigarettes.
yes.
So do
The reason
you?
why, oh,
Oh
go
no
ahead.
no, go ahead. No. You go.
Yeah, just the reason like why, if I had to like psychoanalyze why I do this, for one, I like the physicality of it. I like being able to
Mm,
hold it. It's the same thing as like holding a book. I like holding the movie. I
yeah.
like like making a stack and then showing it to a family member and being like, "All right, pick from the stack. Which movie do you want to watch?" That kind of thing is
Yeah,
just
nice.
fun, which you can't
Yeah.
really do with like streaming services and stuff. But like even that's not enough because it's an expensive hobby, isn't it? So that's like not
It
really
is.
that's not enough of a reason. I think for me, recently, I'm just a pretty big picture quality nerd. I like things to look
Yeah,
good.
nice.
And
Yeah.
so most of the stuff I buy is 4K Blu-rays now, unless
Hmm.
it's only available on a lower format. And yeah, if a movie, if there's a movie I love, I want to see it like and hear it the best possible quality. So that's what it's become
Yeah, I like
lately.
that. Well, I'll ask you some questions about that a bit later. But do you still watch any streaming? I mean, is streaming a thing for you? I mean, it's pretty hard
Yeah.
not to, I guess, but I mean, what would you say you watch more streaming or do you watch more of your physical discs? Do you do more rewatching or does it just depend on what this, if it's a streaming service exclusive, is it pretty much all you watch or do you go there to rewatch your old favorites as well? That
I
was a long
do
question.
definitely do streaming. It's like impossible not to, I feel like. And it's just like for the convenience of it too, like how Disney Plus just has all the Star Wars and Marvel stuff. It's just like it's
Mm.
easier. It's just right there. So like for example, I actually stopped buying the Marvel movies just because first of all, most of them haven't been very good in the past couple of years, I'm sorry to say. Some of them have been good, but like not good enough that I want to own all of them. And so it's
Yeah,
like they're
fair.
on Disney Plus and like my sister has Disney Plus, so I share the Disney Plus with her, and so it's like if I want them, they're there. So it's like just the convenience of it. Yeah, I watch stuff on streaming a good amount. Like as far as what I watch most, to be honest, and I feel like I've said this 500 times on like every podcast I'm on, but I go to the library a lot still, and I just get like a stack of
Okay.
movies, and that's how I watch new movies. Like if you
Oh,
see on my
really?
Letterboxd all the stuff I watch, if it's something random, like some random movie from the 80s or whatever, it's from the
Hmm.
library. It's like I have like six movies out on the table in the living room right now just from the library, and I have a few things on hold that I'll pick up tomorrow. So
Oh,
that's what I
wow.
do.
That's cool to know. No one has said that they do you rent them from the library? Just like check out like a book, like it's a free thing, or
Yeah, I have no frame of reference for what libraries are like anywhere other than
yeah,
where I
yeah.
live, and that includes other areas of the country. I have no idea. The country being the US of A, the only country, the center of the world. But yeah, I mean, as far as my library system goes, you can just take out movies for like a week or two for free, and that's it.
Oh,
You don't
wow.
pay a single thing. It's just like a public service. Books too, and they have other stuff,
Yeah.
other media resources. But it's amazing, and because of the way my library system is connected, so I live in Westchester, which is north of New York City. It's like a big county, and they
Hmm.
have like 20 to 30 libraries that are across this county. It's like a big area. If you want a movie that's at one of the libraries, but it's not at your library, you can just put it on hold. And I don't know how it works,
Ah,
but they have some sort of delivery system where then it'll be driven over to your library and then you can just
that's
pick it up there.
amazing.
It is amazing. And so
Huh.
genuinely, in my entire life, there has only been one time in my life that the movie that I wanted was not at one of the libraries. That movie was Secrets and Lies, which then got a
Ah,
Criterion release like a year later,
okay.
and so now it is at the library. So I just remember
Ah.
that because it was so shocking to me that the library didn't have the movie, because it always does, and they have Blu-rays too, which is great.
Yeah, I was gonna. Well, that was. I was gonna lean onto that and ask because you were talking about how you like your quality. Is it just? Do they just have DVDs? Do they have 4K or is it basically Blu-ray that they
I don't think
stock?
they do 4K for the most part. I'm not like, so I want it to be 4K if possible, but I'm not gonna be like a snob about it. I don't like,
Hmm.
it's not like 4K or die, like if I want to see a movie that's an older movie, it won't ruin my experience. It's more so like if it's a favorite that I want to watch again and again.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I'm a little bit snobby. I kind of refuse to buy movies on DVD. I'll buy TV shows on DVD happily because they're hard to come by in Australia. There's not many that come to Blu-ray, and especially 4K is even less than that. But a DVD movie, I could never do it anymore. It just won't happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what in your collection are you most proud of owning? What do you have on display that's, trophy wise? What do you want everyone to see when they walk in?
Yeah, so I don't literally put things on display because like my stuff, my junk is just like crammed into my bedroom right now, like my books, my
Right.
movies, and my other nerd items. The things I'm most proud of, I made a couple of notes of just ones that I like. I don't have like things that cost me $1 million. I just like some
Mhm.
of the box sets. So I have like a
Yeah.
Universal Monsters movies that I really like.
Yep.
I've been working through that the past year of having, and I just like looking at it. Or like the Friday the 13th Scream Factory box set is a fun one that I enjoy. So
Mm.
you know what I do like? I have two 4K digipacks, like ones like do you know like the digipacks that have like it almost looks like a book that you open for the Spider-Man Raimi trilogy and the Amazing
Oh,
Spider-Man
okay.
movies. So those are nice because it's just like a different
Yeah.
sort of packaging that you don't really see that often. I'm a nerd. I'm just realizing like as I'm talking
No,
out loud. But
not at
yeah,
all.
these are some of my favorites. And the Criterions, of course. I'm a big
Yeah.
Criterion guy, so I like
Okay.
having a lot of those.
I would be if I could be, but
I
Australia.
know.
We've had these
Yeah,
discussions before, Foster, and everyone
I'm
listening will
sure.
know I whinge about it as much as I can, in the hope Criterion might hear me one day. Well, just on that packaging stuff, is packaging a big issue for you when you buy? Like, are you big on your steelbooks? Do you care about slip covers or anything, or do you seek collector item type of releases?
Yeah, so I do care about it. So for example, let's say there's like for example, like a criterion of a movie and a regular 4K or Blu-ray release of the movie, I will buy the criterion even if it's more money, just because I like the way that looks
Yep.
better. I'm using criterion as a stand-in for like any like nice
Yeah.
sort of boutique Blu-ray
Mhm.
service. I like things like slipcovers. It's not like I'll refuse to buy it if it doesn't have one, because like I have
Yeah.
so many movies that don't have them anyways, so I can't be too much of a stickler about it, but I prefer
Mm.
it. The
Yeah, that's
most
fair.
extreme, the most extreme thing I've done was on Black Friday, I got Hereditary in like Best Buy and it didn't have the slipcover. And then I went to Target and I saw they had Hereditary that did have the slipcover, so I bought it there and then went back to Best Buy to return the
Return it.
non-slipcover one. That's the most extreme I've gone, because I love Hereditary. Uh,
Yeah, was that a 4K? Because we're getting the 4K here in Australia not sure when this is going to go to air, this episode, but in middle of October. So,
That one was a Blu-ray because that was like 2018. So that was before I even got into
right.
4K. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. We've kind of already covered off on I guess we already know what your favorite labels are, but apart from Criterion, is there anything else you seek out from other boutique distributors? Like
I like Arrow
Arrow or,
Video.
yeah.
Yeah, Arrow. I like Scream Factory.
Mm,
A lot of them I like just like from afar, like window shopping online, just like wow, those look nice. But like
yeah.
I'm not gonna like break the bank to try and get a million of them. I'm at a place where like I don't need to own everything in the world. I just like if it's a movie I love, like for example, if a top 10 of all time movie for me had some great, incredible release, then I would totally buy it. But I don't have
Yeah.
to like own a nice release if it's not a movie I'm over the moon for, just because the
Yeah,
release looks nice. Um,
that's fairly common in what I'm finding, to be honest, is that
yeah,
it's just if you absolutely love it. So are you an upgrader of your format? So if you have something on a Blu-ray, you'll upgrade it if you
yeah.
love the film? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm a big upgrader. Yeah, I've movies where I've like gone from DVD to Blu-ray and then to 4K. Yeah.
I think a lot of us are hoping that 8K doesn't become a thing because there's because if 8K becomes a thing, then we're all screwed even more than we are,
I know.
because it'll just be painful. So, what are the best transfers that you own then? What that you're big on your quality. So,
Ooh.
what do you love the most?
Okay, this one I did make a list, so buckle in. I got
Yeah,
a few that I really love.
no worries.
So I really my favorites are older movies with the
Mm,
4Ks. Because
same.
like digitally shot movies obviously look incredible. It's like crystal clear. It's amazing.
Yep.
But like what's insane to me is seeing like an old movie that you've seen before, but like seeing it on 4K is like you're seeing it for the first time because like you can see people's pores, you can see like
Yeah,
their
yeah,
hair. It's so crazy.
absolutely.
So the craziest one for me I remember was Spartacus. I saw and I was like,
Okay.
"Oh my gosh." Like I'm seeing every little wrinkle on their faces. It's shot like has these really wide shots that are incredible and huge in scope. It's a Kubrick
Yeah.
movie, of course. It looks amazing. The first time I got my new TV and I got my 4K player, I got my player, I got my TV, and I got a couple 4K Blu-rays. And my first night of movie watching, I did a double feature of the Jaws 4K and then the Psycho
Yeah.
4K. Both of
Oh
those look
wow.
especially Psycho looks amazing.
So those
Those
older
are a
films
couple.
do come up very well. They scrub up
Yeah.
because I guess it is because of the film. Like I always profess the Maltese Falcon and Casablanca both
Mm,
look incredible in 4K. So yeah, I think it's just that filmic version and that bit of grain makes them feel so gives them such a tone and vibe to the film that just makes you feel a bit more cozy as well. Yes, I'm there
yeah.
with you on that. Do you are you big on your special features? That do you watch your special
Yeah.
features or just like to have
Some
them or
Yeah, I like special features a lot. I wish I watched them more. I watch them a good amount. Usually what I'll do is I'll watch a movie and then I'll just like have the special features playing on in the background as I'm doing other things after the movie. I did write down a couple that are like some of my favorite ones. Commentaries same thing. Sometimes I'll just let it play on after I've watched the movie, but the Roger Ebert commentary for Citizen Kane is a really great one.
ah,
It's
okay.
just like a perfect like film education in 2 hours. That's one I would
Mm,
just highly recommend. It's like he just goes like bam, 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 bam through everything that makes the movie so noteworthy. And so it's like if you watch Citizen Kane, like me when I was younger, and you're like, okay, fine
you don't
movie. I don't really get why it's the best of all time. Watch the
yeah, yeah,
commentary and you'll
yeah.
be like, you'll be drinking the Kool-Aid. It's incredible.
Good.
Hot Fuzz has some good commentaries, especially there's one
Mm-hmm.
with Quentin Tarantino on with Edgar Wright.
Oh, really?
So a lot
I
of
have to,
great like fun facts and stuff in there, and that's just them like talking about action movies they love the whole time.
that'd be
Um,
great. I'll have to check that
yeah,
out.
the like all-time greatest though is the Lord of the Rings appendices. I watched for the
Yeah,
first time like a year or two ago, and that like
yeah,
actually blew my mind. I was like depressed after because I was like, if I saw these when I was like, even younger, I probably would have pursued filmmaking in some capacity because this is so
yeah.
incredible.
That's a very
Yeah.
common theme, actually. I have a friend who he owns the Lord of the Rings on 4K, but he actually went out and brought the Blu-ray box set as well because that has the special features and I've seen snippets. I mean, I own them as well, but on the 4K. But I've seen snippets of the special features on social media, and they are pretty damn good. Like it's impressive how what that whole trilogy is super impressive. I had a bit of a rant with Shane about that last night. Just how I can totally respect why people love that trilogy. Like it's such an impressive feat of filmmaking all around. Okay, onto your quality stuff. Tell us what do you play your media on? What type of sound setup do you have? What type of TV? Yep, that type of thing. Is anything over the top, or are you just kind of, what's your target for that type of stuff? Are you happy with what you have now, or do you want something more later down the track as well?
I am happy with what I have. So like a couple years ago, like when I got my new TV and everything, I spent like a month honestly just going online and researching a whole bunch of TV stuff because I knew like for one, I'm not like made of money. I can't like do a whole
Yeah,
surround sound system in my I'm also limited. I'm in an apartment, I can't like
yeah,
go all crazy. I can't like build a home theater, but at the same time, like if I'm buying a new TV, I'm sticking with it for like 10 years probably. So like I want to make
mm,
sure it's like something that
mm.
I'm happy with. So I spent like a good amount of money on my setup. Here's what I have. You can tell me if this is over the top. I have no idea compared to like what other people have said so far. So I have a 65-inch LG TV. It's the series, which is like
Okay.
a really solid TV for like
Is that
uh
an OLED? It's an OLED, yeah.
it is an OLED. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's also because that was something I was debating between like OLED versus LED because I'm good to watch
Mm,
things in the dark for the most part, so I don't need like an LED TV for like a more
yeah,
brightly lit room. I like being able to see the darker darks.
same.
So that's my TV. My 4K player, it's a Panasonic UB820, which seems to
Yeah,
be like the standard like recommendation for 4K
yeah.
players online. Um,
It's a big fanboy community out there for the 820.
yeah, that was one where I was just like, I'm just gonna get it because it's like everybody
Mm,
seems pretty happy with it. I don't even want to like bother with worrying about one that, skips on discs and stuff like that.
yeah.
And then as far as speakers, that is one thing where I would love like a surround sound thing at some point in my life. I'm not like it's not happening anytime soon, but I
Mm.
got two like bookshelf speakers just on either side. They're clips, I think
Oh
that's how you
yeah.
say it, speakers.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they're pretty solid. It sounds
yeah.
light years better than the back of the TV, which is like real tinny and
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
ugh.
of course.
So yeah, I'm really happy with my setup.
So is
But
that a
yeah,
sound
I don't
bar, the
know.
clips, or is it actually just
Not a sound bar.
speakers?
It's like two speakers, so like you can angle them towards you, so you get like a little bit of
Right.
enveloping sound, which is nice. Yeah, they're pretty
Okay.
good speakers too.
Okay. That's interesting. I thought for some reason, I don't know why, I thought you had a sound bar of some kind, but no, it's not a sound bar. Okay.
No,
There's some good
I
sound bars
from
out there that give you Atmos. I mean, I have one. There's
yeah.
plenty out there, and it's a game changer when you're listening in Atmos. I mean, as you would know, going to the cinema, what Atmos sound is like compared to being at home. But yeah, interesting. Here's the big one that everyone's got a different story to tell with this question. This is probably what I'm most fascinated with how people organize their collections. What
Oh,
do you do with yours?
okay. Alphabetically, and then there's categories,
Hmm.
and it goes. I'm just looking at them right now. It goes TV shows are first.
Okay.
Then it goes like box sets that are too big to fit into the normal spot
Mhm.
because I'm already running out of shelf space. So like I do have to do some weird sort of consolidating organizing. Uh, in reality, I would like everything to just be alphabetized and it would be
Be nice,
easier.
wouldn't
So
it?
like the Friday the 13th box set, I would like to go right in the F spot, but it doesn't
Yeah.
fit because then it like dislocates some of the others, and then it just like it's a
Yeah,
mess.
yeah.
So I have like the
Gotcha.
Friday the 13th box set, the Universal Monsters box set, and I think a couple others that I can't see over there. Then it goes Marvel and DC movies. I just feel like those have to be separate because
Yeah, I agree.
it's like if you separate Batman and Superman, and then it's like, what about the DCE? You just need them together.
Yeah,
Then I
yeah.
have Criterions next, and then I have DVDs next, and then I have Blu-rays and 4Ks mixed together. The reason for that last
Ah,
bit is the DVDs are longer than the Blu-rays and 4Ks.
yes.
So
Yeah.
the DVDs, I can consolidate them together, and the Blu-rays and
Hmm.
4Ks, I can consolidate them together. Basically, it's all about maximizing my shelf space for my tiny
Yeah,
little apartment.
yeah.
That's what this is about.
Yeah, yeah. No, I totally get it.
Ugh.
There's some interesting ways people organize their stuff, and honestly, a lot of it's only relevant to them. So, I mean, I've found that with most people, if someone was looking for something, they wouldn't have a clue where they were looking, but the owner knows exactly where they've stored everything, which is yeah,
Mhm.
it's a very familiar theme. It's cool though. Is there anything that you regret buying in your collections? Anything you're like, oh God, I wish I never wasted that much money on this, or just a movie that you didn't end up liking at all?
Okay, I got two answers for this.
Okay.
First is a general thing, and then the second is a specific one. So general thing, I have stopped buying everything. There was a point like 3 years ago and prior where like every Black Friday I would just get like every movie from the year that I mildly enjoyed. And then it came to a point where I'm like, okay, I have too many of these things that I'm half of which I'm never going to watch again in my life. If I liked a movie, I don't have to buy it because
Yeah.
it needs to be something I'm gonna rewatch again. And so like the
Mm.
one example that I thought of was like Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, for whatever reason
Yeah.
is the one that came into my head. I loved this movie. When am I
Mm.
gonna rewatch that? I have no idea. It's not one that I feel like I need to rewatch. I'll probably see it like in 10 years. I'll probably watch it once. So
Yeah.
that was like an example of a movie, or like Hidden Figures was another one that I think I still have
Yeah.
over there. Like great, fun, enjoyable movie. I liked it a lot.
Mm.
When am I going to watch that again? It's not going to be on the top of the list. So that was a struggle for me to determine like I can't keep this up forever. If I do this every single year for the rest of my life, I'm going to end up with 2,000 movies. Or some people already have 2,000 movies. I don't know if you've talked to Shane yet.
I have,
But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but like I just don't even have the space for that. So I have started to pare down my movies a little bit, getting rid of a couple that I'm like, I like this movie, but I'm never watching this one. And so I've started with the DVDs, because the DVDs especially, I'm like, I'd rather watch it on a streaming service than on the DVD. So like I'm
Mm,
getting rid of some of the DVDs. And then a couple Blu-rays I got rid of. So that's my general
okay.
thing first. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add there before I go to my specific one.
Well, yeah, it's remarkable how you mentioned three billboards because that's one absolutely one that I'm this exactly the same stuff because it's I've seen it cheap on even on 4K and sometimes I'll buy a movie that I know will want to watch again that I did like at some point and I'll buy it, but for three billboards is when I was like, I don't think I need to watch that again ever. So that's one that I've just held off on buying, but it's exactly the same. I might get it one day when it's, $10 or, but it's crazy how you have it was the same title. Anyway, is there anything that you're looking forward to being released or anything that's on that you know is coming? Is there anything that you're looking forward to buying?
I don't know if I know anything that's definitely coming out. I know I do have a couple that are like on the wish list. I will say, going back just a second, not that I regret
Mm,
buying this one, but the Lord of the Rings 4K is one that's very frustrating. I don't know how much you've like looked into this one, but since we were also talking about Lord of the Rings earlier, they do
mm.
like and some of the James Cameron movies do this too, like the DNR, the digital noise reduction to like
Yeah,
remove
yeah.
scrub out the film grain. I hate that. That
So
like
yes.
really like that's the kind of thing that it's like you could say it's nitpicky. I notice it. Like I notice it instantly when I'm watching the movie and it's all over Lord of the Rings. And here's what it is
Ah,
like just for people who don't know, I'm gonna like describe they have this software that removes the film grain from the movie because like if you're a director and you're making like Lord of the Rings or whatever, you don't want the film grain necessarily. It's just sort of like an inherent feature of the cameras and the film stock that you're using.
mm.
So like in your perfect world, you make a movie that just looks incredible, crystal clear, perfect, whatever. And so now like when Peter Jackson or James Cameron go back and they're making these 4K restorations of their movies, sometimes they use this DNR to get rid of the film
Yeah,
grain.
yep.
So here's the thing. Some shots of The Lord of the Rings 4K look absolutely beautiful, outstanding, best they've ever looked. Some of it
Hmm.
looks unbelievable. But here's what happens. Because it was filmed in the early 2000s, the CGI for Gollum looked incredible at the time. The thing is,
Yeah,
it's helped by the fact that there's a layer of film grain over the whole thing. And
yes.
what it does is it obscures some of the CGI and helps very subtly blend the CG into the like real world elements and matte paintings and whatever else they use. And it
Yeah,
creates it's just like a little thin layer that like helps to bring a little bit of cohesion. When you scrub away the film grain, you're also scrubbing it away from Gollum. And
yes.
I, for the first time in my life, when I watched the 4Ks of Lord of the Rings, I was like, for the first time ever, I can tell that Gollum is CGI right now. For the
Yeah.
first time ever, I can tell that this background is not real. And it was almost like disappointing. Like I had like
Yeah, it's off-putting.
found out that like my life was a lie, because I was like in my head these movies were real, and so I don't know. I almost am considering like just getting like a regular old Blu-ray set of them, just
Okay,
because like I feel like
that's interesting.
I don't know. It almost like was disappointing to me. So that's one that I won't say I regret it. I'm glad I have it, especially for certain
Yeah,
scenes. But that's a real specific case.
yeah, okay. I watched them relatively recently. I didn't notice that, but I hadn't really been into the Lord of the Rings
Yeah,
before, so hadn't noticed that detail. It
yeah.
looked
You have
great
to.
to me.
It does look great. You have to be a special sort of annoying person like me to like get worked up over
Well,
something like this. But
that's
yeah,
that's going to lead me on to the Jim Cameron quote that he came out with recently. Did you hear about that? What he said
I did.
about
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like what are your thoughts on that?
About
Like
like getting
because
out of your basement or your mother's
yeah,
basement or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, did you agree with what he said, or do you think he's full of shit?
Well, I mean, I love James Cameron like as a director, and he's like earned the right to say and do whatever he wants. I will say I
Hmm.
don't buy his 4K Blu-rays though. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I just haven't because I'm like it's for the same reason. I just know it's gonna bother me. I'm not interested in seeing a really weirdly
Yeah,
waxy looking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
that's fair. I'd still need to check out my True Lies. I've heard The Abyss is very good, and I have a True Lies. The Titanic 4K is one of the best 4Ks of all
Is it?
time. Like it's
Okay.
incredible, except for that one scene when they're running through the water and they do the digital face swap. But that's from the you just notice it so much more on the 4K. It's crazy. But same as back in the film grain days, and CGI was not as prevalent. It was hard. Obviously, it was hidden a lot better, but now on the 4K, like that's the only part where I'm like, holy shit, that looks terrible. You can see the stunt people running through the water, but they've
Yeah.
pasted Rose and Jack on top of them.
Yeah.
But otherwise, that's a stunning, stunning 4K. But yeah, I'm hearing other bad stuff about his other stuff. For me, he kind of pissed me off. I think he needs to treat his clients a bit with a bit more respect. I mean, if people notice it, I mean, it means you're doing a bad job. He's just trying to
Yeah.
defend his team doing a bad job, I think. So is there anything that is on your list that you'd like to be released that hasn't been released yet?
Yeah, I wrote a couple down. The big one is The Village, the Shyamalan movie.
Mm, yes.
Not only does it not have a 4K, it doesn't even have a Blu-ray.
No,
Um,
no. It's ridiculous.
that's
Thanks
crazy.
Disney. That's Disney buying Fox. That's what that
And
is.
it's a Roger Deakins shot movie. Like it's
Mm,
beautiful. So that's one that
yeah, that's a great
I
pick.
would die for that. And then going forward, just the other early Shyamalan movies don't all have 4Ks either. Sixth
Mm,
Sense doesn't have one.
mhm.
Signs. Not that this is the greatest movie, but Lady in the Water is a beautifully
Yeah,
shot movie.
yeah.
It's Christopher Doyle shot that, who does like Wong Kar-wai's movies. Like it's a beautiful
Right.
looking movie. So
Yeah.
like the one of the like two or three things I really do like about that movie is the visual. So I would love a 4K of that too. School of Rock is my favorite movie. I would love a 4K of
Mhm.
that. Prisoners is another one.
Yeah.
Spencer, I wish they had released on 4K. That one we just got a
Is
Blu-ray.
that the Mark Wahlberg film? No?
Spencer's is the Princess Diana one with
Oh,
Kristen Stewart.
I'm thinking of Spencer Confidential. I was like,
Oh
why would you
yeah.
want that? But no, Spencer, fair point. Okay, yeah, Kristen Stewart.
And then Barry Lyndon, I want a 4K. I want
Yes.
Criterion to upgrade it.
Yes, please.
That's like a day one purchase for me. I love Barry
Yeah.
Lyndon, and that's like to me, if gun to my head, that's the best looking movie of all time. I
Oh,
would love a
wow.
4K.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Kubrick, I still maintain Kubrick is probably the best filmmaker of all time. He's not my favorite. I don't even know if he's the best, but I think he was the best, if that makes any sense at all.
I
Like
think I agree with that. Yeah.
his consistency is just every film he made is a 4 star or above. I don't think he made anything that was less than great. I mean, I
And to
don't know.
do
I
every
can't.
genre too.
Yeah, yeah, like just a phenomenal, phenomenal artist, really. Yeah, I'm looking for Amadeus. So Barry Lyndon is a great one,
Ooh,
but I'd love
yeah.
Amadeus. But apparently Amadeus is coming. I've heard whispers, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, where do you buy from? Like, what are your buying habits? Like, how do you strategize how you buy? Do you wait for sales? Did you buy on release? Do you get that FOMO about you, or how do you go about that?
Yeah, I'm like a frugal buyer, so I buy on sales
Hmm.
for the most part. I so like for Criterions, they have a half off sale twice a year. I prefer doing it in person. I just find it more fun to like flip through things. So
Yeah.
like not every Barnes and Noble has Criterions, but a lot of Barnes and Nobles in the States have the Criterions, like a little
Hmm.
section of them, especially in New York City. So I usually just go in and
Yeah.
like hang out there for 20 minutes, flip through all the movies and see what I want, and then I'll take out a stack. And I feel like if I don't
Okay.
get like everything I want, that's fine. I'll just wait till the next sale a couple months from now. There's always going to
Yeah.
be movies you want. So like I tend not to buy them online from Criterion. Otherwise,
Mhm.
movies, maybe not the most exciting answer. I usually just buy things on Amazon if it's just
Yep.
like a basic 4K that I want. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I found that with the people from the States that I've spoken with so far you have that luxury of being able to wait for sales. In Australia, it's a very strange
Yeah.
setup that we have here. A lot of us have to, especially the keen collectors, like I guess anyone listening to this, we kind of have to buy upfront most of the time if you have the budget to do it, because some stuff will be on the shelf for years, and other stuff it'll be on 3 weeks, then it's gone. Like you can never find it again. It's really weird. And being that we only have one store in the entire country that sell physical media, like actually in store, yeah, it can be very tough for us. So yeah, anyway, to the States one day, and I'll just honestly bring back this whole suitcase full of 4Ks. That's all I would be there for. and maybe
Mhm.
Vegas. So, I've already discussed that one. What do you buy? So, do you collect any other type of physical media? We're coming to near the end of the conversation, to be honest. Like you said, do you get books and whatnot? No,
Yeah, do books count?
that's physical media. Yeah, books, CDs, whatever.
Sure.
Like if you can hold it, read it, and
Yeah,
consume it.
I mean, I got a lot of books.
Yeah,
That would be the only other one. Yeah, I don't like reading. Usually I don't like reading on like a Kindle or a computer or anything like that. I like having the book. And I also, that's one thing where I don't even get books from the library because I like to own it because sometimes it'll take me forever to read through it. And so it's nice to
yeah.
just have a copy.
Yeah,
Um,
books do
yeah,
take time. Yeah,
they do.
okay. Well, thanks for being on the show, Foster. I've really appreciated your time. It's been good. It's been good fun. I hope our listeners have had some fun as well. Where do you want to send our listeners to? What do you want to plug? Because I know you do a few things outside.
Yeah, Letterboxd, that's the place to find me, which is FOSTH101. I don't really do other social media stuff, so that's really the only place.
You have your own
Then,
podcasts and whatnot.
yes, my own, which I run myself. Franchise Paradiso. Franchise Paradiso is like nerdy movie bickering about different franchises, and we argue and make lists about the best ever in certain categories. So again, that's Franchise Paradiso. I do that with my co-hosts Heath and Rowan, and then the other podcast I'm a part of is Also See, which is just a movie of the week recommendation podcast I do with Robert, who does that podcast with me. So pick your poison, basically.
Yeah, look, I highly recommend to anyone listening to check out Foster stuff. It's always good work. Always like Franchise Paradiso is really good fun. They did their first season on horror, and now your second season is about superhero stuff, right? Yeah, and it is fun to get the bicker, and you get the bickering yourself when you hear them argue, and you're like, "Why are you mentioning this?" But yeah, it's always good fun to listen along. So if you have enjoyed the episode, give us a follow at KerbSide Collections on Instagram, and if you are a collector and would like to be on the show, send me a DM, and I'd love to reach out and try and get you on at a time convenient to you. Until next time, thanks for listening to KerbSide Collections.